Good afternoon. This is All India Radio and I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. 4 terrorists shot dead in Jammu and Kashmir. Home Minister Amit Shah to chair a meeting today to discuss development and security-related issues in the Union Territory. India's nasal vaccine against COVID-19 to be rolled out in January as a booster dose for citizens aged 18+. Government reiterates it has no plan to privatize Indian Railways. Over 11 lakh square feet of space created through a drive as part of Swaccha Bharat Abhiyan, says I&B Minister Anurag Thakur. And UNSC calls on Taliban to reverse its decision prohibiting women from attending universities. Four terrorists were shot dead in Jammu today. Additional Director General of Police Mukesh Singh said a quick response team of the J&K Police noticed an unusual movement of a truck on the national highway. Following this, the Srinagar-bound truck was intercepted by the police at Sidra Bridge. He said the driver abandoned the truck and escaped.
26 जनवरी के मद्देनजर हमने बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी ग्रिड को अलर्ट किया हुआ था। एक ट्रक की मूवमेंट अनयूजुअल दिखी हमें, उसका पीछा किया। जब ये सीधरा नाके पे पहुंचे तो उसको रोका गया। ड्राइवर नेचर्स कॉल के बहाने नीचे गया और वहां से भाग खड़ा हुआ और उसके बाद ट्रक की तलाशी शुरू की गई। ड्राइवर एब्सकॉन्डिंग है, उसकी तलाश के लिए सभी SHOs को, सभी सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस को मैसेज दे दिया गया है।
The ADGP said the terrorists were heavily armed. 7 AK-47 rifles, 3 pistols along with other ammunition were recovered from the site of the encounter. Home Minister Amit Shah will chair a high-level meeting today on Jammu and Kashmir to discuss development and security-related issues. Union Home Secretary Ajay Kumar Bhalla, DGP J&K Dilbag Singh, heads of security agencies and senior officers will attend the meeting in New Delhi. Mr. Shah will also hold a meeting with officials of the Union Territory of Ladakh. India's nasal vaccine against COVID-19, Incovac, would be available to the public from the 4th week of January. The vaccine, manufactured by the Hyderabad-based company Bharat Biotech, will be rolled out as a booster dose for those above 18 years of age. Talking to AI News, Chairman of India's COVID-19 Working Group of the National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, Dr. N.K. Arora said, the vaccine will cost 325 rupees in the public sector and 800 rupees in the private sector.
It is a matter of great pride that world's first nasal COVID vaccine is now available in India. This vaccine is developed and then manufactured in India. This vaccine will be available from January onwards. In private sector, it will be available for 800 rupees and the government is purchasing for 325 rupees per dose. This vaccine is to be taken only for those who are eligible. That means from the age of 18 onwards, and those who have not taken the precaution dose so far can take this as a heterologous precaution dose to reinforce their immune status.
A total of 188 new cases of COVID have been reported in the country during the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry said 141 people have recovered during the same period. The recovery rate stands at 98.8%. According to the Ministry, there are 3,468 active cases in the country. The ministry said more than 90,000 vaccine doses of COVID were administered to the last 24 hours under the nationwide vaccination drive. So far, over 220 crore vaccine doses have been administered to the beneficiaries across the country. President Draupadi Murmu has called upon students, especially from tribal areas, to serve the society after attaining self-reliance in their lives. She said contributing to the progress of the society is everybody's duty. The President virtually inaugurated Eklavya residential schools at Asifabad and Mahbubabad districts after inaugurating the Sammaka Saralama Janjati Pujari Sammelan at Bhadrachalam in Telangana. President Murmu appreciated the efforts being made by the Union Tourism Ministry in the name of Prasad scheme, as improvement in tourism will enhance employment opportunities to the local people.
तेलंगाना के प्रसिद्ध मंदिरों में लाखों तीर्थयात्रियों का आगमन होता रहता है। केंद्र सरकार की प्रसाद योजना के तहत तीर्थ स्थलों के विकास कार्य से जुड़कर मुझे बहुत प्रसन्नता हुई है। मुझे ये जानकर विशेष प्रसन्नता हुई है कि इन सुविधाओं से वरिष्ठ नागरिकों तथा दिव्यांगजनों की तीर्थ यात्रा में और भी अधिक सुविधा होगी। इन विकास कार्यों से आध्यात्मिक और सांस्कृतिक पर्यटन का बढ़ावा भी मिलता है।
The President said tribal festivals like Sammaka Saralama will strengthen the cultural ethos. Earlier, the President offered prayers at the Sri Sitarama Chandraswamy Temple at Bhadrachalam. The government has reiterated that there is no plan to privatize Indian Railways. In an exclusive interview with All India Radio News, Railways Minister Ashwani Vaishnav also ruled out the operationalization of trains by private players. He said it is not feasible as the government gives around 55% concession to passengers, which is probably not viable for the private players.
There is no plan to privatize railways. Railways is a very complex organization. It is serving the poorest of the poor and the middle classes. So there is no plan to have private players run the trains. Basically, we are subsidizing the rail travel for passengers by about 55%, more than half the cost. So practically everybody is getting a discount of 55%. It is not viable for private players to give that kind of discount. So there is no plan at this point of time.
The minister said projects related to Ahmedabad-Mumbai bullet train are progressing well with the construction of pillars, depots, stations and bridges.
The first bullet train project is taken up between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, and there is very good progress. As we speak, the progress is about 126 kilometers of pillars already done. The bridges on all the major rivers are getting done. The stations, the depots, everything is getting done. Maharashtra is also given full cooperation. So the project is going on very well. It's a very complex technology. We have to understand the technology, absorb the technology, make sure that our people are well versed with it, and then we expand it to other corridors.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Northeast Diary program broadcast every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. brings very interesting and enchanting stories from the 8 Indian states of Northeast India.
In this week's special year-ender edition of Northeast Diary on the 29th of December 2022, we bring to you snippets and excerpts of stories and interviews from the region broadcast earlier this year that touched our hearts along with heartwarming and uplifting music of the region.
Looking forward to seeing you there.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has said that over 11 lakh square feet of space has been created in a recent space audit. He said, taking cue from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Swaccha Bharat Abhiyan, the ministry initiated a drive which led to space audit after clearing the clutter in different media units and Prasar Bharati offices at various locations. He said in Delhi's Swaccha Bhavan itself, 1 lakh square feet space has been retrieved. He also said scrap disposed of under the Swaccha Bharat Abhiyan could earn about 22 crore rupees. Mr. Thakur said space efficiency and co-locating various wings of the ministry would bring synergy as well. The minister informed that he personally supervised space audit in Ahmedabad, Mumbai and Bhopal. He said similar activities are on across the country under the ministry. In the latest edition of Mann Ki Baat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had made mention of the space audit of the ministry. Space audit will provide additional revenue to Prasar Bharati in the form of rentals and reduce burden on exchequer to the ministry. Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri today launched the guidelines for City Finance Rankings and City Beauty Competition in New Delhi. Mr. Puri said these initiatives will take the country's journey of urban rejuvenation to another level. He said the government has started several schemes like Swaccha Bharat Mission, Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation Mission which transform the country. In a landmark development, the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly today passed the Lok Ayukt Bill which brings in its ambit the Chief Minister, Ministers and People's Representatives. The bill, which was tabled in the lower house on the 26th of this month, was passed today without any discussion in the absence of legislators from the opposition parties. The bill will replace the 1971 Lok Ayukt Act and has the clause of Prohibition of Corruption Act. Speaking on the bill, Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis said that even though there is a clause of Prohibition of Corruption Act, certain filters have been set to register a case against the people's representatives. With this, Maharashtra has become the first state in the country to pass the Lok Ayukt Act. In Uttar Pradesh, 5 members of a family were burnt alive in the house in Shahpur area of Mau district. Superintendent of Police Avinash Pandey said a woman and her 4 children were in the house when the fire broke. He said the fire started by sparks from the stove and engulfed the entire Kacha house made of straw. On receiving information about the incident, a fire brigade team reached the spot and extinguished the fire. It found 5 bodies lying inside the house. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has expressed grief and sorrow at the incident and asked the officials to provide every possible help to the family. District Magistrate Arun Kumar said 4 lakh rupees each will be given to the next of kin of the deceased. The United Nations Security Council, UNSC, has expressed concern over the Taliban's decision to close all schools above the 6th grade for girls in Afghanistan. The UNSC said that it is deeply alarmed by the reports that the Taliban have prohibited women and girls from attending universities. It called for full, equal and meaningful participation of women and girls in Afghanistan. The Council called on the Taliban to reopen schools and swiftly reverse the policies and practices which represent an increasing erosion of the fundamental freedoms of people in the country. In Bangladesh, the first metro rail was inaugurated by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in Dhaka today. The elevated metro rail of 11.73 km length is part of Bangladesh's ambitious Mass Rapid Transit MRT, which has been implemented in phases. Prime Minister Hasina hailed the opening of the metro rail as a crowning achievement. She said it heralds the beginning of a new age in Bangladesh with high-speed trains running on electricity, which is environmentally safe. She reiterated her commitment to make Bangladesh a developed country by 2041. Initially, the train will run daily for 4 hours from 8 a.m. to 12 noon between Uttara and Agargaon stations without any stoppage. Back home, Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri says the government has ambitious plans to increase refining capacity in the country. In an exclusive interview with the News Services Division of All India Radio, under the aegis of a year-ender series, Mr. Puri spoke about various initiatives and achievements of the ministries.
250-252 metric tons per annum हमारी refining capacity है. 252 metric tons per annum से 400 metric ton तक पहुंचना बहुत ambitious है. आप हमारे exports देखिए products के, तो refining capacity is also helping in the exports. Private sector की refining capacity is in the economic zone. तो ये मैं समझता हूं कि जो टारगेट है एम्बिशियस जरूर है, पर ये हमारी ओवरऑल इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट में एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टारगेट है.
The interview can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel from 7:10 p.m. onwards in Surkhio Mein and from 9:15 p.m. onwards in Spotlight. This interview will also be available on our website newsonair.gov.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. The Met Office has forecast improvement in cold wave conditions in northern parts of the country, including Delhi, Haryana and Punjab, for the next couple of days. Talking to AIR News, Director General I&B Mrityunjay Mahapatra attributed the improvement in cold wave conditions to a western disturbance.
Condition is likely to improve in the coming days because of the western disturbance which is affecting or likely to affect from 29th the northwest India. There will be rainfall or snowfall over Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh and adjoining Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Therefore, temperature will go on rising now for next 3 days and therefore there will be abatement of cold wave conditions.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. 4 terrorists shot dead in Jammu and Kashmir. Home Minister Amit Shah to chair a meeting today to discuss development and security-related issues in the Union Territory. India's nasal vaccine against COVID-19 to be rolled out in January as a booster dose for citizens aged 18+. Government reiterates it has no plan to privatize Indian Railways. Over 11 lakh square feet of space created through a drive as part of Swaccha Bharat Abhiyan, says I&B Minister Anurag Thakur. And UNSC calls on Taliban to reverse its decision prohibiting women from attending universities. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.